Cuba, it's me. Welcome to episode 186 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now today, it's part 5 of my list of questions series. Basically, I go on the old the Facebook machine, and I say, hey, ask me anything about wrestling, as long as it's about wrestling. Ask me any question. I think I screwed that up. Whatever. Let's keep going. And we got some repeat offenders that have asked questions before, and we got a couple new ones. Thanks to everybody. Let's do it. I'll do it in the order that they were asked. First off, Eddie Osborne has quite a few questions. Eddie Osborne says, "What are my thoughts on the toxic turtles that were in the WWF?" My thoughts are that it shouldn't get any airtime. I didn't have any desire to talk about it or see it. It was what it was. Glad it was just a one-shot deal. Then he has a question. If I was general manager of a WWE brand and there was no draft or nothing like that or no superstar shakeup and I had to pick 10 guys to be on the brand, who would I pick? Man, ugh. So let's do it. Let's just get this over with. Braun Strowman I would pick. I would pick Cesaro. Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. I'd take The Miz. I'd take the Shinsuke. I'd take Jinder Mahal. I'd take John Cena. I'd take Roman Reigns. And he didn't specify, so I'm just going to pick 10 male superstars, I guess. The other two would be... Jeez Louise, is there even anybody left? This is a tough one for me. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Who would I pick? The Usos. Jimmy and Jay Uso. There you go. Why hasn't my TWA Tag Team Champion partner, W.I.L.L.I.W, been on the W.I.L.L.I.W show yet? Well, you see, not that I'm going to defend him or anything like that. It sounds like something that you do when you're in a relationship with someone that everybody knows you shouldn't be in the relationship and you're constantly defending him. But Lenny wears a lot of hats, specifically a New York Islanders hat. And, he doesn't have as much time as people like to think. He's got a lot on his plate, and I'm not sure if he eats it all or not. But Lenny will be on the show. We're getting to it. We've had many discussions about it. It's hard to work things out. We have conflicting schedules. It'll be done. Don't worry. Have patience, because that will be the best episode when it comes out. What is my favorite thing about wrestling? Well, there's a lot of things that are my favorite things about wrestling, but just to pick one, I would have to say the rush, the high, the adrenaline I get when I go out there and I just feel like I'm not myself. It's like an out-of-body experience. I can't really describe it. It's just the wrestling, the feeling I get from wrestling, I guess would be the best way to sum it up. And now Jessica Lennox has a whole bunch of questions here. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jessica Lennox is my sister, used to be known as Jessica Habanero, but she got married. So her first question is, how much training a week would it take to be a wrestler? Well, from my personal experiences, I train 3 hours a day, 5 days a week for 15 hours a week, and I didn't have my first match after about 100 hours of training after like 3.5 months. But you can never not train enough. You always got to keep training. It's never enough. But to be an actual wrestler and do your first match, well, that depends. Who's your trainer? Blah blah blah. But it's never going to be enough. You need to train constantly all the time. Do you have to be crazy to be a wrestler? Now, I believe you have to have a little certain something special about you, for sure, to be a wrestler. To willingly beat up your body and to love this crazy business. I think, yes, you have to, like a minimum. I'm not saying like mentally crazy or anything like that, but just, I think you have to have at least one tiny screw loose in there somewhere. That's my belief. Do I sell autographs or do I give them away for free? Now, I do sell merchandise. But when it comes to the autographs, because one, I'm not a huge name and I'm not someone that could be selling my autographs for a lot of money. I guess I'll kick myself if I ever do become famous, but no, I give the autographs just free, because generally the kids want the autographs, and I'm not going to say no to a kid, because maybe I might just make their day or inspire them or something. So the autographs I've been giving away for free. I always feel bad when the kids want me to sign their shirts. I'm like, what do your parents say? Are you going to get in trouble or grounded because I wrecked your shirt? But the autographs I've been giving away for free. What was my favorite character that I had when I did backyard wrestling with my friends when I was a kid? See, she was around for this, as it was my sister, and she even participated and was Miss Vicky. My favorite character, I did this one called Mystery, which was in all black, and I would like crawl out from under the porch and stuff. I love doing that kind of mind games, that kind of stuff, like Undertaker-ish kind of stuff. I enjoy being Mystery. Do I remember watching wrestling in the Campbell River Community Center when I was younger? I certainly do. I've even talked about it in a couple of the episodes, and I've put up some of the programs from some of the shows I went, and yeah, I could never forget that. She also happens, what happened to the 21st Century Fox? Well, I actually did a tribute to the Fox probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now for her birthday, and then things started the ball rolling, and Chris Sinclair also seconds this question. He also wanted to know what happened to the Fox. Well, she lives in Quebec now, and she's got a young family and everything, but one of her nemesis from years and years ago that they had so many battles against each other, Misty Haven, recently returned to wrestling after a long hiatus. And I know Fox was thinking of it, and that helped inspire her, and I like to think I had a little hand, maybe just 1% in helping, kick her in the butt, but she has recently started training again. People are going to be really thrilled when she comes back. And then it's off to Brennan Wilkinson, also known as Crofton, a great wrestler in his own right. He says, what is a move that I hate taking? I think that's honestly, I really believe especially when I got into wrestling, that was I was too shy to play a character well. I wasn't strong, I couldn't do a lot of fancy moves, I'm not athletic. Taking the moves was really all I had. Is there one I really hate taking more than the others? I don't know. I don't really know if there is. I guess a body slam, because I always do it awkwardly. I always scrunch my body up weird, and it hurts way more than it should for a body slam. So I'm going to say body slam. He's asked, how good is Joey Allen as a wrestler? Well, it depends what Joey Allen you get. It depends what side of the bed he woke up on. But in general, most days, I'd give Joey Allen a 7. Has anyone played a rib on me mid-match? Now, I've had a lot of ribs played on me, especially when I was a young wrestler, starting out being a young punk, 18 years old, hanging with all the old guys. During the match, I've had ones played on me at the end of the match, 1 or 2 at the beginning. I can't say mid-match I probably have. I've got a thumb in the bum here or there, or had fat people sit on my face. I don't know if it was a rib or not. I'm going to have to say yes. I'm sure I have. Battle Royals, yay or nay? A big nay. As a fan, I enjoy watching them. As a participant, I despise being in Battle Royals, Royal Rumbles, Golden Ticket Rumbles, any of that nonsense. I hate it. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a puncher and a kicker. I'm not strong. I prefer being able to go out there and do my thing. Battle Royal it just limits me, I guess I could say. How many times have I wrestled Eddie Osborne? See, I can't say this is 100% accurate, but my guess would be 83 times. That, give or take, might be pretty close though, would be 83. What toxic turtle would I be? Here I go again with the turtles. See, I'm even getting ribbed in the freaking show. Raphael was always my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, if that's the question. But yeah, I would not be a toxic turtle unless I was in the WWE making WWE money. And then we have Maya Love. Lots of love to you, Maya Love. Have I ever contacted WWE to see what behind the scene jobs were available. No, I made a piss poor, crappy video, which basically I said was a tryout for Triple H and Vince McMahon to be a backstage announcer, and I tweeted it to them. I guess that's the closest I've ever done to. I see what you're saying. I should be doing that, yes. Now we got James Jordan, DJ JD. He says, what are my thoughts on Paige's return? I'm glad for her. I did an episode, I think it was the first episode I ever did, talking about how she could capitalize on this, and she shouldn't let this one thing, which was a big thing, I'm not saying it's not a big thing, ruin her whole life and career. I hope, and I think that will be good for her health and mental everything. I really hope she makes a return, and I think when she does come back, she'll get a humongous pop that I believe she deserves. He also happens to ask, what did Bobby Heenan mean to you? Well, Bobby Heenan was the first person that really made me realize the entertainment side of wrestling. He was also my first person that I ever learned like any kind of comedy from, and I would steal his jokes all the time. And if you want to know more how I felt about Bobby Heenan, I did a Bobby Heenan tribute the night he died. It was a little hard to do because it was like right after I found out I was just about to film my show, and then I found out that it wasn't the greatest show, but I did tell a lot about how I felt about Bobby Heenan. And thanks for having me on your show a couple nights ago there, DJ JD. Then we got Wade Buswell. Wade Bus very well. He says, should Papa Shango and Kamala have been a tag team? I mean, it would work. I love Papa Shango, not a big Kamala fan. Definitely would have worked. I would have lived to see Papa Shango have some kind of like somebody else as a partner, but I would have not said no to Papa Shango and Kamala as a tag team. What is the favorite match that I have ever seen? Well then, that is not going to be an easy one. There's so many matches. I don't know, man. My favorite match that I've ever seen. Well, when I was a kid, it was Undertaker vs. Jake the Snake, WrestleMania 8, because those are my two favorites. And that match I probably watched about 55 times, rewinding the VCR tape. So when I was a kid, favorite match I ever seen would definitely be Undertaker vs. Jake Roberts. As a person now, man, I don't know. I really like the Stone Cold Bret Hart WrestleMania 13. What match made you want to wrestle? There was a match with it was one of the first WCW tapes I ever saw, and I always thought I maybe wanted to be a wrestler, but it was Mick Foley, and I believe his partner was Max Payne. I could be wrong. I think it was Max Payne against the Nasty Boys, and they like did a shovel and hockey stick and beat the hell out of each other. And I was like, you know what? I can't do flips. I can't run fast. I can't pick anyone up. But I could get hit with a shovel. Maybe I could be a wrestler. So that one really turned over the leaf a little bit more. Like, maybe I could actually do it. Anything with Mick Foley, Mankind, was what really inspired me. Braden Austin. Who is better, Joey Allen or Jimmy King? I'm going to have to say Jimmy Allen for sure. He's definitely had a lot more experience. But they're both, in my books, I love wrestling both of them. What recently released WWE superstar should wrestle for PWA? Now, has there really been a lot of people recently released? I'd like to see Jack Swagger come in. I think he'd be cool. I love the We the People and the music and everything. I don't think he could use all that. Or, I mean, Hornswoggle. I was never a Hornswoggle fan, but I think the crowd would definitely enjoy it, especially if we've had the Mighty Minis there before. And then Gord WH. Thanks, Gord. I always wish you would commented on one of my posts. Says, how much money did Tex pay for his pink suit? Well, actually, I believe Tex has a lot of rich friends. He has friends in entertainment, he has friends in the banking industry, he has friends in fashion industry. And I believe that suit was donated to him, but if he would have had to pay for it, it was over $6,000. I know that much. And who did he bribe to become PWA commissioner? See, this is information that I'm not privy to. I don't know, but I guarantee you're right. He bribed someone. Money talks. I doubt anyone voted for him, and maybe that's probably what. He probably bribed the fans. pay $5 or a vote or whatever. Who would say no to that? It's like, or $10, then your ticket's half price. So you definitely bribe someone. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff because I just want to wrestle. I don't care about who's the commissioner, who's the I don't care about that stuff. Tammy Laylaw, one of my favorite people in the world, Tammy, I love your new dogs, asked, how is it wrestling now that you have a child? It's definitely a little bit different. Before I had a death wish, I was like, you know what, if I die in a wrestling ring, then I'll die doing what I love. I have nothing to live for. Well, I don't think the same anymore. I'm like, you know what, let's not die tonight. I have a child. So it definitely has changed me. Then we got Derek Paul Sharp. Oh, this was actually earlier, but okay, I missed it. But Derek Paul Sharp, one of my favorite referees, says, if I had a referee friend, hint, hint, obviously him, that was running for a member of parliament in the area that I lived in, would I vote for him? Well, that's a really lot of hypothetical questions there, but I generally love to support any of my wrestling brotherhood, sisterhood. I support them in almost anything they do as long as I'm not like totally offended by it. And I don't know what kind of politician you'd be, but as long as we're not too far away on the issues or whatnot, I would definitely support you, for sure, man. And then David Daniel Ducker, Triple D, says, do I prefer a separate cruiserweight division or a mixed roster? I don't like the cruiserweight division. I like some of the cruiserweight wrestlers, not a lot of them, probably like 4 out of them. I miss the old cruiserweight division. I used to love cruiserweight division when I was a teenager. Now I just wished if they were that good of wrestlers, mix them all. Because there's some people that should be in the cruiserweight, like Finn Balor, and I used to say Enzo, but now they finally made him. And that should be, and then some guys like Neville who could wrestle bigger guys. So I don't like the cruiserweight division. I like some of the cruiserweights. I just wish they'd mix them all into the roster. And that's it. That's the listed questions, part 5. Thank you so much, guys, for making this episode for me. It's really easy. Instead of having to come up with something, you ask me the questions, I just answer the best of my ability. This is W.I.L.L.I.W Show episode 186. Remember, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elaine Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba.